feet.
Right.
All right, the Hangout Air is live. Let's 3, 2, 1. All right, what's the deal, family? It is the starting five, -1 though, but it's all good. We're gonna still make it happen. I'm your gracious host, former TV sports anchor Lane Fobbs. Joining me are three of the smartest brothers I know when it comes to this sports, especially this A. They've watched all of the opening first games of the opening round series. I'm talking about Andrew Holly. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Talking about the big homie DeMarcus Brother. What's going on?
What's going on, my man? Dallas, where you at, baby?
You know they ain't got shit to say right now. And my boy, now Tim, walk me through. Is how you say your last name, man? I'm not finna cut that up and butcher it, man. How you say it?
Sheely, man.
Tim Sheely. There we go. Sheely, what's going on with you?
Taking it easy, brother. Taking it easy.
All right, man. It's been a very busy weekend opening around the NBA playoffs. One of the best days of the year is that playoff Saturday, of course. And that Saturday, we're going to break down these games real quick. Of course, we're going to start with the Rockets. We heavy in H-Town. They beat the Mavericks 118-100. James Harden, not the best day from the field, 4 of 11, but he did finish with 24 points, made 15 of his 17 free throws, 5 starters in double figures, 7 guys total, 7 guys from both teams total in double figures. We actually saw the emergence of the rookie, our French brother, Clint Capella from overseas.
Finally, man. It's been a long time. Glad he finally cracked the lineup other than Joey Dorsey, man. It's good having him in there.
He came in there, man. Dropped 8 points. Good win for the team. Opened the series opening win at home. Fellas, just give me y'all's thoughts on the game.
Man, first things first, we got to give hats off to Trevor Ariza. I mean, leading the team with 11 rebounds, facilitating 6 assists. Him and Terrence Jones had 6 assists. That's always a positive, especially when you get an offense from them guys. And the main thing you got to look at between Terrence Jones and Trevor Ariza, only 1 turnover. So when you only also getting help and then no turnovers on top of that, it's plus. It's plus all the way through, man. It's plus all the way through.
I think the game went really well. What I was talking about earlier is I feel like everybody stepped up. Everybody played the game they needed to play. As you mentioned earlier, Harden didn't have a huge game as a shooting guard, but he had a really effective game as a point guard. So that was really huge, and he didn't have to have a huge game. So, which is also good to see. I think another key factor that I alluded to earlier was the turnovers. 5 turnovers in the first quarter,
Right.
and just constantly having hands in lanes. Trevor Ariza, he's been putting his hands in passing lanes ever since he was with the Lakers. Long, athletic, so that was really big, really key. Made the Mavericks play a lot of sloppy passes, a lot of sloppy plays. So I felt like I said, everybody played a great game for the Rockets. Could have played better. The only factor I don't like is Josh Smith. I feel like he was just pointless.
Yeah,
He was pointless.
Josh
He was
Smith,
pointless all the way through.
with the 4 turnovers in the first half, you just can't have that kind of basketball, especially if you expect to advance to the second round. This Dallas team, we was fortunate to have Dirk Nowitzki with 6 turnovers, which you won't see that kind of basketball out of Dirk. But then he backdoored and went 10 for 14 from the field. So yes, he had a lot of turnovers, but he was still able to get the shots that he needed over our defenders. That's going to be the key throughout the series is keeping Dirk under control. Don't let Rondo get those kind of shots. He started getting his confidence early on in the second quarter, and when he knocked down that huge 3 from the corner, came through and hit a few 10, 15-foot jumpers, Rondo started getting his confidence under him. And Chandler Parsons had a terrible game. I mean, when you talk about going 5 for 15,
15.
5 for 15 from the field, you can't expect to get that from Chandler Parsons every night. Sooner or later, he's going to start banking in those threes. And you can't expect Corey Brewer to hit 3 threes in the fourth quarter.
Tim, get in there.
Basically, I think the Rockets did a real good job, especially with Dwight Howard being in foul trouble like he was. He wasn't really on the floor that much as I would like to have seen him. But they, as a team, they played well, and that's something the Marcus alluded to last time was that we're only going to go as far as our bench will take us, and our bench gave us a lift. Corey Brewer had an amazing second half. Like you say, he doesn't hit threes all the time, but he hits them when he needs to, and that's what he gave us this last game. Clint Capella was, for not getting that much time during the season, he had a good first playoff game. That was real nice.
He shut down Amari. He shut down Amari. That second unit could not do anything on the inside against Clint Capella. The only person that had success against the second unit was Tyson Chandler. I mean, with 18 rebounds, but 10 on the offensive end. 8 on the offensive end, 10 defensive rebounds. But that's just controlling the glass, and we had nobody that could match up with Tyson Chandler on the inside.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is his 13th game. Capella, this is his 13th NBA game.
That's it, man. He was really thrown into the fire, performed. What I also wanted to think, running by you guys. Now, granted, they don't have a Steve Nash point guard. The Rockets don't. So when I say this, but does this team kind of remind you of the 05, 06 Suns that can run up and down? Any guy can give you double figures every night with balanced scoring. Does it kind of
definitely, because you got to realize that Suns team, they had the likes of Sean Marion, Joe Johnson, Boris Diaw, Leandro Barbosa. They was deep from top to bottom, and they had all type of shooters that once they get hot, they all can be streaky. So you just never know where your offense is going to come from. Last night, our offense came from Corey Brewer, hands down, with those 9 points in the fourth quarter. That saved us big time from any type of Dallas comeback. Anytime Dallas got within 4 or 5, Corey Brewer was putting a nail in the coffin all day.
Big time.
Yeah, I agree. Big time shots. I can say that because this team likes to run, especially with Corey Brewer as a run starter. And I feel like everybody, especially when you have bigs like T. Jones and Dwight Howard, who like to run full court, who like to run and try to go court to court. The only thing I'll say that's a little bit different is that, we don't have that Steve Nash that you alluded to. It's James Harden. That's James Harden. That's it. And that's the only thing I see as a problem is that he was more of a point guard this game because, quite honestly, Rondo played a really good game against him.
He played a heck of a game, man. One of the most underrated things about this game, we have to look at Terrence Jones. I mean, he led the team in field goal attempts. He was second on the team in free throws attempted. That means he was being aggressive. He had 6 assists. That means he's looking for his teammates while being aggressive. He had 9 rebounds, 4 on the offensive glass, 5 on the offensive glass. T. Jones is going to be the key to this series. He has to slow down Dirk Nowitzki more in order for us to advance. But T. Jones looked great last night, and he has to continue this play if we want to advance deep in the West.
Exactly, man, exactly. Now, game 2, obviously, first off, I don't know why we got to wait 2 days in between games.
Yeah, that's kind of long. It should be one day and get them out there, especially this first round.
Yeah, but when that game is played, the Mavericks are going to Jets. What do the Rockets need to look out for going into Tuesday's matchup?
J.J. Barrera cannot go 6 for 9 from the field. You just can't. He was running all over, making plays. It seemed like we couldn't stop him. You can't let their veterans come in. Last night, Charlie Villanueva came in, splashed a few threes, even though it was just 2 of them. But he could get some extended playing time in this game. You got to control Rondo. You got to force Monte Ellis into shots he don't like, and you got to keep Tyson Chandler off the glass. You have to.
I feel a lot of that is the same. I think that game 2, the only difference that I want to see in game 2 is Dwight Howard playing.
Yes.
I feel like if Dwight Howard plays at least the same 25 to 30 minutes that mostly everybody else played, I feel like Tyson won't get as many offensive rebounds. But whenever Dwight Howard's out, the lineup had to go small. So, and you asking Capella, a rookie, to outsmart a vet like Tyson Chandler when it comes to rebounding. Defensive MVP, a guy who only wants to just get rebounds and play defense.
And that's very true. And it's sad to say that 10 years into his career, he's still getting ticky-tack fouls. You can't be going into your 30s and you're still picking up 2 fouls wondering why you're getting called. Like, you're too aggressive in the paint sometimes. You have to be able to manage yourself when you're in the game so we can keep you out there for the minutes that we need you to play.
Exactly, because for me, I feel like the Rockets should win the series in 5. So every time I look at this, I'm looking towards the future, and maybe thinking over yourself. But if you're trying to really compete against the Spurs, because I feel like the Spurs may win the next series, and even they don't, the Clippers win the next series. Those are 2 teams that the Rockets can't expect to win 4 or 5 games with Dwight Howard only playing 17 minutes.
Right.
And
And
now, Tim, for you, I was thinking that there weren't. I saw that there weren't a lot, and everyone can answer this as well. But I feel as though the Rockets didn't really challenge them. Not the Rockets, but the Mavericks didn't really challenge the Rockets inside. You know, kind of like last year, the way that our brother who is that LaMarcus Aldridge did. You know, and just kind of overwhelmed everybody down in the paint. Do you think that Dallas are going to try and get some more things down low and see what they can kind of get going?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm kind of afraid of because for us, our rotations are big, especially with Demo being out. I don't have a lot of faith really in Joey Dorsey, and with Dwight getting fouls the way he is, we're gonna at some point in the series they will try to attack us with the bigs, and we're gonna have to be ready for it. And also something that I saw. And with some point in time, we're going to have to get up in this series during some games because we saw that they will hit us with the hackers, Josh Hack, whoever's out there because of these free throw issues that we're having. So we're not going to pick a close game if we can't do the things that it takes to win.
Tim, man, that's how you talking to us from a well, bro. Lassie need to come and rescue you.
How about that?
You good? You good, bro?
You got me now?
Got you a little bit better, a little bit better. No, but no, I see what you're saying though. Dallas really didn't, you know, with Monty Eunice out, I thought that they would have tried to take advantage more in the paint. And for Rick Carlisle to not do that in game one, I was kind of surprised, especially from a coach who got finals experience, is coaching a lot of big games like he has.
You know, and I think his mindset was to attack, but he just had the wrong people attacking. I mean, when you let Amari Stoudemire take 12 shots, that means you're kind of desperate for post offense. And he only made 2 of them. Clint Capella really shut him down. Dirk Nowitzki got what he wanted. Tyson Chandler only took 8 shots, but other than that, they don't really have the size or the talent to compete with us on the post. Now, if they had the likes of DeJuan Blair and Brandon Bass from back in the day, it'd probably be a different story. But when you only have to worry about Amari Stoudemire and shutting him down with the second unit, it kind of evens everything out, especially with the loss of Demo.
well, also something that we forgot to mention, and this is great play by the Rockets, is that if you actually go back and watch the game, the reason why they really didn't attack the post is hands were in the way in passing lanes.
Right.
So a lot of those trying to get those balls into deep possessions, they were getting tipped, they were getting picked off. So if you kind of take away maybe 4 or 5 turnovers, that could have been possibly 10 points in the paint that they did. They did try to feed their bigs, but Rockets did a really good job with active hands. Anytime the ball got low, you at least had 2 Rockets swiping down at it. So there was great help defense on the inside, and I think they were kind of expecting them to try to go inside because the Rockets are aware of their weakness and right now, and especially with Dwight not being acclimated to the game speed, because this is possibly his 4th, 5th game since he's been back with close to 4 to 5 fouls early in the game.
Yes, he still, like I said, he still has that bad habit of getting these ticky-tack fouls, and that has to stop in order to make a deep run. But I think we're both pretty much evened off in the post. Like I said, beginning of the series, it all comes to Josh Smith. You can't have 4 turnovers. You can't go 1 for 4 from the free throw line, even though they only put you there 4 times. You got to knock something down. You got to be able to have some type of confidence going in the playoffs. If you don't have confidence, you end up at home. When you end up at home, you end up without a job, and you're going to wonder why he can't get a contract coming next summer.
Exactly, man. Rockets play Tuesday. You're gonna pick it back up. Hopefully they can go 2-0 before they take it up to I-45 North.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to look at the entire NBA. I originally thought to break down some games and whatnot, but you can tune into your local TV affiliate, whatever you want to do for that. I want to talk about it as a whole because you look at it. We had a lot of key stars, and something I think is good for the NBA, make their playoff debuts. You had Kyrie Irving, you had the big homie Davis, Kevin Love, even Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek hockey. Who do you think had the best playoff debut? Who impressed each of you guys the most?
From top to bottom, honestly, it's really easy to say Anthony Davis.
You gotta say Anthony, man.
Because I watched the game all the way through, and to watch him evolve as the game was going on, and
To
because the
watch him,
first three quarters was all right, you know, and
yes. To watch him
it's
evolve into a superstar in the fourth quarter, it's like he went through rookie year Davis in the first quarter, then sophomore Davis in the second and third, and then he turned it on to Olympic Davis in the fourth quarter. Like, I mean, 18 points, and then you finished the night with 35 points on the best team in the Western Conference, even though you only got 7 rebounds because they had Glassies over there. They had Draymond Green who pulled in 12. Bogey pulled in 14. That easily could have been his double-double. But Davis, he really did impress. He really did impress.
yeah. I would say Davis is head and shoulders above everybody else, and all the games are not done yet. It's about to be finished, but you know, just to be honest, as a first round playoffs, I really didn't see anything special. I really didn't see anything that just made it feel like, hey, this is a playoff game. The Wizards and Raptors, you could say, you know, if you just went through all the games, the Wizards and Raptors,
Paul Pierce showed that he still got some juice, and you know that's gonna be big time because the Wizards are only gonna go as far as Paul Pierce can take them. He's clearly their leader when it comes down to the stretch. You can see him directing traffic, and even when John Wall missed that shot, you didn't really see him get on his case because he knows how good John Wall can be. But he has to take a smarter shot, or he has to get a ball to Pierce in that situation. I think and further down the road, when those games get close, you won't see the ball in John Wall's hand. You'll probably see it more in Paul Pierce's hand, even though he's a better penetrator. But when you go 5 for 18 and you're a point guard,
yeah, but we all know that. So that's nothing new. Now, to take something back, he didn't have his first game, but it's his first game in 3 years. Derrick Rose had he amazed me. I was actually happy to see him out there doing his thing again.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to do, Tim. Now, the Bulls did come back. The Milwaukee Bucks, an emerging Bucks team, but a team that's ultimately overmatched by Chicago. Talk about the Bulls a little bit, all you guys. We'll start with Tim. Derrick Rose, like you said, is back. They got their full backcourt. Jimmy Butler is back. You know, everyone's looking good. How impressed were you with the Bulls, A, and B, if they play like this, will we be seeing them in June?
As far as impressed, from a role standpoint, I'm going to give you an A. I was impressed by his game. As a whole, we know what they bring to the table. We know what kind of team the Bulls are. We know that they're the team that well, of course, hopefully they'll go on to face Cleveland next unless something disastrous happens to either team. But, man, to me, they're one of the top teams in the East. All respect to Atlanta, but if you want to see the Eastern Conference Finals, you would love it to have been the Cleveland versus Chicago game, especially with Rose. If he can keep this up and he can maintain his health, man, that's a tough team to beat right there, man.
You know, and that's true. And the most dangerous thing about Chicago is how they spread the ball around. You got to realize Aaron Brooks still had 13 points coming off the bench. He splashed those 3 threes just like I was telling you about. Miracek started stretching them out. Then you had Noah with 11 boards, Gasol with 13 boards, Taj Gibson with 11 boards, and then Miracek had another 5. So they had, in total, they had 5 players with at least 5 rebounds plus. Their team offense, they're just the ultimate team. Like it's a lot of teams in the East that cannot stop the Bulls when they're healthy and they're at full power because they have playmakers all across the board from top to bottom.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard for me to give a lot of credit to the game. I feel like I feel like the Bulls played a great game, but we're talking about first of all, we just look at the mismatches from top to bottom. You know, you're talking about Thibodeau versus Jason Kidd.
And I understand
that should be a mismatch.
But when you look at all the playoff games this weekend, it wasn't a lot of blowouts. It wasn't a lot of blowouts.
And a lot of games were close.
Other than the Memphis game, it wasn't a lot of blowouts. And Tom Thibodeau knows how to coach his team. At one point, the Celtics had a lead against the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Bulls did not give up a lead. They didn't give them any momentum. And anytime they got close, they put the nail in the coffin. Tom Thibodeau knows how to coach in the postseason.
And that's what I'm saying. It's a great team with a great coach because, you know, obviously Thibodeau right now in the playoffs, he's probably top 3, top 5 coaches in the playoffs. I would give him.
Easily.
I looked at the game and I expected the Bulls to win just on the fact that there's too many stars versus too many first time guys.
Yes, yes,
You can
exactly.
look at the Bucks and it's
Michael
everybody's
Michael
first
Carter
time.
Williams and the Greek Freak both made their postseason debuts. They both ended up going 4 for 14. Michael Carter Williams only had 9 points. Greek Freak had 12, but OJ Mayo shooting 1 for 7 as usual, not showing up for his team in the playoffs. Is just becoming too much of a over and over story between him and Rudy Gay. I don't know who disappoints their team the most when it comes to postseason play.
And so it's hard. It's hard for me to give the Bucks a chance, and for me to give them a chance, for me not to give them a chance, I expect the Bulls to play the way they played. And
Exactly.
now, and to Tim's point, like I said, it's good to see D Rose getting some burn, and coming back to that form. But who's to say that's going to be the same D Rose if they go against Cavaliers and
But you
it's
have to,
LeBron in
but you
front
have
of
to
them?
realize with a series this easy, when you see Aaron Brooks come off the bench and score 13 points, the deeper and deeper the series goes, when they get up 2 games, get up 3 games, Derrick Rose minutes will go down, and they will start preparing for the Cavaliers. Because
Yeah,
when it all comes down to, he has to be healthy, because that series is going to go 6 or 7 easily. So
yeah,
he can't waste his valuable minutes, especially his explosiveness, on the Bucks.
Yeah, and
You
I
can't
think
see you can't see Derrick Williams flying. You can't see Derrick Rose flying around on the Bucks like that. You just can't.
yeah, and Thibodeau did a good job, at least from my standpoint, of spreading out Rose's minutes. I mean, Rose had
Yes.
27, but he spread them out to the right points in the game to
Yeah.
which he needed them to play.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. He did a hell of a split when it came down to Rose and Aaron Brooks. It was almost straight down the middle, other than a few spurts.
And so we all agree pretty much it's going to be Cavs and Bulls. I want to talk about the Cavaliers a little bit. You did say that they did beat the Celtics after he did develop a big lead. Good. I believe it was Isaiah Thomas's playoff debut as well, and he
Oh
played.
yes.
But
He went 6 for 14 from the field. He
yeah.
did great out there.
But of course, the main story is the big three for the Cavs, and they all pretty much showed up. 30 from Kyrie, Kevin Love, I believe, 19, I think, and
19 and 12.
yeah, 19 and 12, 20 points from LeBron. I want to talk about LeBron because now, granted, it was Kyrie is the Kyrie Irving show, but going forward, do you want to see more from LeBron? Because my thing is this: those guys are good enough, Kyrie and Kevin Love collectively, to win some games. But I feel like, especially against Chicago, there's going to come a point when the chips are down, and that's when the best player in the world is going to have to step up. So you all want to see more from LeBron.
I
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. What you got?
The only thing I have to say about the only thing that kind of disturbed me the most is the fact that they needed LeBron to play 42 minutes against the Celtics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I feel like that's too much. I feel like that's too much for a team that you're outmatched almost 1 through 15, almost. Um, him and Kyrie almost over 42 minutes from LeBron, 41 minutes from Kyrie. So you can't see any more of LeBron out there. And I think honestly, probably what it's going to do, and this is what I was talking to DeMarcus about earlier before the podcast, is that I think LeBron is going to give this series to Kyrie because
Mhm.
honestly, this is Kyrie and this is Kevin Love's first time in the playoffs.
He gonna use that. He
So
gonna use that as a stage as their homecoming, And I think his uses is kind of funny. I mean, when Kyrie Irving only has 2 assists and LeBron got 7 assists and 5 turnovers, that kind of worries you. Why is he getting so many turnovers against a team that went 40 and 42? You're supposed to be the greatest player in the NBA, and a team that you barely can name they starting five force you into 5 turnovers. They force you into shooting 8 for 18. Like, you just can't have those type of things coming from the best player in the league. And his efficiency was matched by Isaiah Thomas, who only played 31 minutes and shot 6 for 14, while LeBron James shot the 8 for 18. So that worries me down the stretch. Are they going to be using him entirely too much? Is it too much on his shoulders and not enough on Kyrie as far as playmaking is involved?
Well, I mean, man, I think it's LeBron's first playoff game back in Cleveland, man. There was a lot of jitters. I think he was happy to be back in that environment. I think at some points in the game, when it looked like they had his handle, he still wanted to be out on that floor, maybe because he wanted to be a general or maybe because he just wanted to live in that experience. I joked with DeMarcus earlier. I thought he should have sat out and they should have let Kyrie and Love get handled.
Yeah.
I didn't see a need for LeBron to even pretty much show up. to face a Boston team. I mean,
not 42 minutes at least.
Yeah,
You know.
and I think that's the key because at some point LeBron James is gonna get in foul trouble, and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love is gonna have to play together. They're gonna have to. So the best time is against a team like the Celtics because you can't practice those lineups against the Bulls. The Bulls are gonna be throwing everybody at you. You're not gonna have a time to just relax and try to run your sets when you got Taj Gibson, Marichek, Noah, and Gasol all pounding at you in the paint. So their best time to get these teams to jail, as far as Kyrie Irving, J.R. Smith, Kevin Love, Mozgov, Shumpert, is now because you won't be able to do it in the second round.
And also, speaking about Spence and Shumpert, they can't go 4-13 with eight fouls. With 8 fouls and 16 points together. If they want to be realistic and they want to have, we're not thinking about Eastern Conference. We're thinking about finals.
And
those guys have to play.
And on top of that, it's not just the fouls and the shooting. I mean, they're not even looking for opponents. They had a combined 2 assists. So if you're out on the court, you're not contributing with your shooting. You're not getting rebounds. You're out here hacking everybody, and you can't even find your open teammate. Then what are you out there for? What are you bringing to the team? Because they brought you to be a key component. And when James Jones outscores you in limited minutes, Shumpert played 32 minutes, James Jones played 14, and he scored more than him. What does that tell you? They tell you Shumpert going to be on the bench and James Jones going to start getting some more PT so he can splash some threes.
Well, I think Black Bart Simpson was more worried about going home today. You worry about going home to miss. I need a refill, but let's see. Now, Candy, we are recording right now. The game isn't between the Clippers and the Spurs isn't over yet, but we didn't get to this series as much as I wanted to. I want you all's thoughts on this series. Who wins it? Who are the key contributors from the Clippers and the Spurs, and how do you see the series going, basically?
I see this series going as far as DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin take it. I mean, tonight, Blake is being very aggressive with his 23 points. He already got 9 rebounds and 4 assists. I mean, it all comes down to Griffin's passing. Now, if he can get 5 to 10 assists a game, this team is going to be dangerous because that means he's finding J.J. Redick, he's finding Matt Barnes, he's finding Chris Paul, he's finding his shooters in the spots that they like. And he's comfortable coming off the dribble, and he can also get into position just in case they need to get a rebound if DeAndre's not there. So this series is going to be the Blake Griffin coming out party, and it's now or never because if they don't win, this team could be breaking apart pretty soon because Crawford is aging. You don't know what you're going to get out of Glenn Davis anytime soon. Baby Rivers got to go. Turkoglu's old. Hawes is old. They don't have depth like they usually have. So it's all going to come down to their top stars. Now, on the opposite side, if Splitter can stop Griffin, if Tim Duncan can give them something and Kawhi Leonard can become the mid-range shooter that we know he can to take over games, like truly take over and not have to rely on the Tony Parkers, the Ginobilis to come in and save him. If Kawhi Leonard can become an overall star and look for his teammates and find them and make the game easy, then the Spurs could easily take this in 6. But if this game is dominated by the stars of the Clippers, then the Spurs could be heading home and no repeat, just like usual. They never repeat.
Yeah, what he just hit on, and one of my biggest keys to the series is, and the reason why I don't see the Spurs maybe not going as far as I would like them to, but first of all, this is the first time we're going to see the real Spurs because we know the Spurs don't play until playoffs. Yeah. But I feel like if their driving force is Kawhi Leonard, and right now he's at 31 minutes, 7 for 11, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 fouls, 16 points, you would be like, hey, he's having a great game, which he is right now with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But Kawhi Leonard is not the superstar yet, and I think they're forcing the superstar status on him too soon. I know he is the reigning Finals MVP, but he's not a superstar yet. And
it's said that because Jalen Rose on it was a Grantland podcast actually. He said that Kawhi Leonard would be a max guy this offseason.
I can say this offseason maybe. It depends on what kind of stuff he takes during in this finals, but we gotta remember Kawhi Leonard wasn't available most of the season this year. Yeah. So he really didn't have a full season. just kind of got them back the second half of the season. Maybe that's the reason why they were playing really well coming up because they was on a good run. But just right now, we're going for stars. He's not ready to take that superstar status yet. If you're giving it to him now, if now we look at everything else, we see Tim Duncan is 4 for 10, Parker's 4 for 11, Ginobili's 3 for 10. So that's really uncharacteristic.
Boris Diaw 2 for 10. That is very key because they have to have him playing well. When Boris Diaw's playing well, that team is playing well.
And also, the game nowadays is 3-pointers.
Yeah.
And I've said earlier, Danny Green has not played a great season. Right now, he's 1 for 9.
At all.
So he's
0 for
not
5 from 3.
He's not playing a great season, and that was kind of their big deal last year. Was the last 2 years. Honestly.
Yeah, he went 6 for 7 in the finals. Yeah.
So he's not having a great game, and Kawhi and him work best together.
Yeah.
And so they're a great tandem together. And so when you have Kawhi, who's obviously the all-around player, and then you have his sidekick or his partner,
who's supposed to splash his threes, he has to in order for them to be successful.
So
when he gets the chance.
So I really don't. Right now it's not looking good, and they caught back up because it was a bigger lead than this, and so they are coming back up. But like I said, the series is too long to tell. We don't know the real Spurs until maybe Game 3. Game 2, we're going to see a whole lot of different Spurs. But Kawhi Leonard is going to be the key. Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green are the key because, at the end of the day, it's Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, Ginobili. We know at some point they're going to do something, and at some point they're going to turn it on. It's going to be what is Kawhi and Danny Green going to do for the team, and whoever else are the role players for the, because basically the Spurs are full with plug-and-play guys.
Yes.
It's full with plug-and-play guys. So it's hard to say one guy, single out one guy as an X factor, but for me, it's going to be
because at any given time they can have an X factor either coming off the bench, and I'm even talking about as low as Matt Bonner. Matt Bonner could come in, get him 9 points and catch them back in the game. Patty Mills, they have a lot of talent from top to bottom, but I think once this season is over, they're gonna look back and realize how much of a blow losing that Pelicans game was, dropping them all the way to the 6th seed versus having the 2nd seed in the Western Conference. They could be playing this game at home, and it could be a whole different ball game. They'll be playing Dallas. So, looking back, that loss to the Pelicans may hunt the Spurs' playoff chances and their championship hopes.
Yeah, I think it will. I honestly think it does and it will because as long as DeAndre and Blake can stay out of foul trouble and stay out there, DeAndre Jordan had 2 blocks, I think, like the first 3 minutes tonight, and he should have had 3, but they called it for a stupid foul. And they're going to give them trouble, and the boys can run. They can go, and they can run.
Yes, and the Spurs do not like getting back on transition defense. They are one of the worst teams to get back in transition defense. They'll just let the teams run all day. And that's when you see DeAndre Jordan's outlet passes coming to a key element because they know to run. They know to run. That's the only way to get the Spurs off your back. You have to run. So every time you see DeAndre Jordan throwing that ball over his head, he's going to find an open teammate, and they're going to get it easy too.
I think that's going to be the difference. Series. As long as they can stay on the court, because I have no faith in Big Baby Davis, but as long as those 2 big boys can stay on the court, it's the Clippers series.
It's going to come down to the stars.
And the other thing we don't mention, we didn't say it with the Clippers, is that for some reason, and they've been, this is not, they've been playing really well towards the back end of the season, especially coming into the playoffs really well.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I always fail to mention, that we don't mention right now, is that right now JJ Redick is 3 for 10, and he is their driving 3-4, and you're not going to beat the Clippers.
Doc has perfectly set this team up to be the Celtics, but he has to be Ray Allen, and he truly has to be Ray Allen for this team to win. You got to remember back when the Bulls and the Celtics went to Game 7. Ray Allen was the one that scored 51 points to take that series to 7 games. I don't think J.J. Redick has that same mentality in him. And that's why I think it'll hurt him because we haven't really seen him be a big-time player. Even when he was at Duke, he never won a big game. And it could be the same thing that hunts him in the NBA.
And that's my thing. That's my thing with going against the Spurs is that if you don't have a consistent guy hitting those threes,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be real quick for it's real easy for the Spurs to have four guys knock down threes.
Yeah.
And basically, the Clippers only have one guy, and you
One.
can say Crawford as well, but they only
Crawford's
have
streaky. Crawford
Yeah.
is in the same boat as J.R. Smith. You just never know what you're going to expect from him. If Crawford can get you 20 points, it's a good chance you're going to lose that game because he's just going to be too much off the bench for you. But if Crawford struggles from the field, then you have a solid chance of beating the Clippers because now they have no offense coming from the second unit.
Yeah, and if, like I said, J.J. Redick is your only source of a 3-point game,
And then you look at that
it's easy to
bench
take him away.
You look at that bench at the moment outside of Crawford, they have 5 points. Crawford has 17. The other bench has 5. The rest of the bench has 5. So Crawford is their bench. You shut him down, you can beat the Clippers. If he goes off for 17, 20 points, it's going to be a long day for you.
Yeah, and right now he's at 17.
We need to keep an eye on that one because it could be the Rockets' second-round matchup.
Oh, yes.
That is the time, though. That is the time. Good stuff as always. Good stuff as always. The starting five. We need to get a Twitter, Facebook, a little something set up, man. I'm gonna try to do that here in the coming days for us, man. We gotta be real thorough with this, man. A lot of good stuff. Had a good time as always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome,
Yes,
man.
sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man. That's starting five, man. We're gonna try and post this up and make it happen, bro. We'll see y'all next time. Y'all stay on the line though. We out.
Peace.
Hold on.